Okay, let's try this again. Today is October 19, 2015. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 got above this Fed day high last week on Thursday and then closed way above that on Friday. Today is trying to hold above that. Was most of the time it was kind of negative today, and the breadth was negative throughout the entire session. In the New York Stock Exchange, and at the end, I guess we kind of got a little push and snuck above it and closed with a modest gain, like half a point or so. So right now, we're still basically looking at this 2040 as a potential target here, and also in confluence with this trend line. So we're going to watch for this level, the 2040. And if it pull back, we're essentially watching for this 1993 level here. This level here. So essentially, the resistance is 2040 and the support is 1930. Now, if it take out the 2040, then there's a good chance that it will come up and try to come up and tag this 2079 area here. Okay. So that's basically what we're looking at on the S&P 500. And if we take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial, the Dow Jones Industrial actually got above this particular resistance. And if we go back to the S&P 500, we're still trying to get this thing to come up on this particular level here. Right? This resistance here. Although the December 16 level is way down here for the S&P, but for the Dow Jones Industrial, it is pretty much still up here at some distance away. So what we're going to look for in the Dow Jones Industrial is to come up and tag this maybe about 17,600 and possibly get up to this level here, this resistance here, somewhere around 17,635. And if it pull back, we're essentially looking for this to come back and retest this pivot here, the Fed day pivot day. So it's about 16,739, 1640, 740. And if that can't hold, then probably will come back down and try to tag this lower level here, which would be in confluence with this trend line on this lower price channel, and it could be setting up a bear flag if it pull back and dip below this. So right now we're essentially looking for to maybe chop around in this area about 17,072 and make a push up to the 17,635, and then we see what's going to happen next when it get there. But right now, that's basically what we're looking at is, a push up to this trend line here, maybe in confluence with this number, this level here, this resistance. And if with pull back, we could be chopping around here and possibly come down here and retest this level here, which is the pivot level over here on the Fed day. Okay, and then if we also look at the Dow Jones Transportation, it's still trying to get above this trend line here to break above, and we're saying that if it could, come up above this 82.56, then that would be a plus. And then when it get up to this level here, the 85.66, then essentially it would be forming some sort of a kind of higher high, higher low, because they also get into this confluence here with this trend line. Okay, so we want to see, can it first push above this 82.56? If it can't, then we want to make sure that it hold this 80.82. If it come below this, dip below this 7,800, then there's a good chance that it's going to come down and make a new a lower low on comparing to this pivot. Then there's a good chance that it's going to come back and retest this, and that will be a different story to tell. But right now we're essentially looking for it to maybe grind higher, grind up here, take out this pivot, and maybe we'll reverse the trend here, because you also could see that there's a good possibility that it could do a inverted head and shoulder. Okay. So that's basically what we're watching on the Dow Jones Transportation, and then the New York Stock Exchange Composite. We're looking for this thing to push up to this trend line here, and possibly get up to this 10,678 and break this trend line. So right now you can see that it's kind of maybe forming a little bit of a zigzag, and you could also take a look at maybe a little flag here, and then we do a little bit of a measure move on that flag. You could get down and take a look at this 76, which is 80%. That will brings it up to this particular level here. Okay, and then on the 50% retracement, it brings it up to this 10,678. Alright, so you might want to keep an eye on that. But also the other thing is, if we want to look at this as a double bottom, that sort of thing, we could also use the FIP, alright, to get a double bottom major move. The 200, which is 100% major move, will bring it back to the all-time high here. So you might want to take note of that. And then on the NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ 100 came up, took out this pivot high, which is the Fed day pivot, the intraday high. So right now we're basically looking to see could it continue to come up, because the tech sector seems to be strong, and come up and take out these April high here, the 45.62. Could be chopping around on the around this congestion zone here, which is also confluence with the 78.6, somewhere around 4,500. So if it come back down, we want to see could it hold this level here, okay, somewhere around the 43.50. Okay, so that's the level that we want to see, can it hold. Right? Okay, so that would be the first level of support. If it can't hold that support, then we want to see it to make sure that it could come back and hold this particular support here around 42.78. Alright, so the upside is that we're looking for this thing to push up on this, and we'll talk about some of the stock that might help this thing to get pushed up to that level. And then the Russell 2000, is still trying to break this trend line, to break above and then get above this pivot point here, the Fed day pivot, okay, at 1180. So if it come up at this 1180, take out the intraday high, then it could be a test of the 1200 level. So in the near term, the key level to watch is basically this area here. So we want to come up and get this thing push up above this 1180 and then come up to this 1200. If it can't do that and it's pull back, we want to make sure it could hold this particular level here somewhere around 1139, 1140. Okay. And if it come down here, then that'd be a little bit of a scare, so we got to keep an eye on that if it does come down to this 1104. Right, so the key level to watch, 1180, 1200. Right. Okay. So that's basically the index. Let's take a look at the SPY. Okay, the spider here, we're essentially still looking at the 204.40. That's basically equivalent to the S&P 500 2040. Alright, this level here, so we want to see it to come up and push up and get above that, and possibly work up to this 207, because there's a little resistance here. Okay, so we got to watch that on the 204. Alright, when it get up to that 204, it could come back down and we test this 200 level somewhere around this 199.98, 199.84 area here. So we got to watch this. So it could pull back and maybe get a little scared, and possibly even come in and fill this gap here. But for now, we're essentially looking for it to continue to push to 204 and possibly get up to 207. Okay. So let's take a look at the stock, and that's going to help push up the S&P a little bit, as well as the NASDAQ. Apple, we're looking at Apple to try to break this trend line, and it's still trying to get above this 112 area, but it's holding above this 106. And I think in the next coming day, it's gonna push above this and get up to try to retest this 117. And it's gonna do that before the earning, from based what I see in terms of the price action. So we got a little wedge here. So I think it's kind of gonna squeeze this up, and get up to the 117, because a lot of people have very low expectation of Apple right now, which is good. Right? Okay, so probably get it to push up to this 117, and that's basically what I'm looking at. If it's going to come down, key level is 106. Okay, so still watching that. And then Facebook continue to be the runner, the strong performer, and then we're talking about coming back up to retest this high, and it's getting close to that right now. Remember this little bull flag here? So this bull flag, 80% major move is already hit. So if it get up to this 100% major move target, essentially they're going to take out this high here. Remember, we're still looking at this trend line up here. So if we come up to this trend line at this 141 extension, that's about 106, and it could get up to that 106, 107. But right now, even just using this particular Fibonacci swing here, you can see. So don't don't just draw a Fibonacci line all over the place, but you have to be a little bit methodical here, right? So you see that we come up, right, pull back, and it's within this retracement zone, right? The 618 and also the 382. We get a bounce within that zone, right? And then now it's break out of this 100%, right? And then it pushes up. So that's where we're going to get these extension, okay? So essentially that's what we're looking at right now for that possibility of once it tag this all-time high, right, on this bull flag, then the it could get a little pullback and then set another flag for us to swing it up. But you know, for a little bit of like a fractal, right? You know, one fib on top of embedded in another bigger fib and that sort of thing. So and you can see that. So we're essentially looking for this. This level to be taken out. Then if we take out that, Facebook take out this level, then the next level that we're going to watch for is that 103. Okay, so keep an eye on Facebook. I think this thing is going to run until it at least going to break that century mark before it does anything scary here. Okay. So, and then also Amazon, we talked about Amazon breaking this trend line, come up, we test this high. And right now, today, essentially got up there, but it wasn't able to close above that. So just keep an eye on this because it's still got a little steam to take it out because we're also looking at this upper price channel here, which would be somewhere around $590. Okay, so just keep an eye on that and watch for this thing to see maybe a chop around here and then get a little push, shake a little bit, maybe do a little bit of shake and bake, right? Come down to this 127, extension 127, dip down, scare somebody down here near this, 555 area, shake them out and then come back up and then tag this, 590, get those people that got shaken out to come back and chase it up when it get back above this 127 extension. So just keep an eye on that and be a little patient. Okay? If you have some profit, then trail your stops so you make sure you lock them up. And so here's Netflix. Earning came down. It broke this particular trend line, but it found support on this bigger trend line here. Okay. So right now, it's, we're going to see would it be able to continue and come up and fill this gap. If we fill this gap, look out. It could come back up and break this trend line. And again, it might be running back up to the all-time high. Okay. So all these momentum stock, these large cap tech stock, it's going to help push the the NASDAQ 100 up. Okay. And look at Google. Right? We talk about Google. When it was down here, break above and break below, right? And then came up here, tag this, pull back a little bit. Right? So set up. So you can see how this Fibonacci retracement play out. Right? So once again, you can see that we got this thing come up. Right? At this 100, pull back into the retracement zone, 618. Just slightly below 618, inside the 50, between 50 and 618, and then it bounced, right? Okay, so we don't just draw Fibonacci, on any, point, like here, and then say, oh, okay, we're gonna look for this, 618 and all this kind of stuff, or extension 127, okay? So, but well, that's how I draw it. So if it works for you, that's fine, whatever way that it works for you. But looking at this particular swing, you can see how it do this pullback retracement zone, right, and then pop. Okay, so right now we're essentially looking at this thing to come up and retrace, get up to this 141, and once you get to this 141, try to tag this 1618, this 717. Essentially, you're going to take out this, this 712, the high here, and then again, we'll be looking at a larger swing of the Fibonacci retracement. Then we're looking at a possibility of getting up there to this 760. Right. So again, you can see, come up, right, came down to this retracement zone. As a matter of fact, this time it kind of do a little bit double dip here, right, before it come up, but also set up a little bit of a wedge for you to take this thing, kind of play a little breakout. Okay, so So that's Google, and then the other one, okay, I think a lot of people probably got caught off guard on Twitter because they're so negative on that they forgot to look at the price action. Right? So anyway, when it came up and we said wait for the pullback and look for this, when it comes below this 29 area, 29.50, and look for setup. So you got a nice pullback again. Look at this Fibonacci play, right? 618 inside this retracement zone, and it pop. So right now it's getting back up to this 3150. If break this 3150, look for it to come up to possibly fill this gap and get up to this 3350, 3455. Okay. So, and then Tesla, we said Tesla look for this possible level here. These are the level on the way down. Say look for these level, and it found support, and then it bounced back up. Last Friday we say when it get that bounce, I said time to cover, right? So right now we're going to see would it be able to come back up to this somewhere around this particular level here, 236, 237 area. Okay, and if we could get up to it, then maybe it do a little bit of a chop, and then either come back down, continue on to the to this level here, or it will chop and then move up to the 250 and maybe come back and retest this particular trend line level here somewhere around 260. Okay, so it's also, if it come up, probably would be in close confluence with this 254. Okay, so, and then also the IBB. We're talking about the IBB coming back up for the bounce here. So look for that bounce to continue. And if we could take out this 326, then we're basically looking for the possibility maybe it could come back up and tag this trend line here. But if you want to look at maybe a something like a double bottom type of a formation pattern that you want to kind of see. Let me get the Fibonacci retracement tool here. So if we do this, and here's the 100% major move, and that would bring it up to this pivot. So you might want to keep an eye on that. Okay, so that's one way to try to get some of these level to kind of take a look. But again, the first line of resistance will most likely be this particular trend line here, and also there's a Fibonacci retracement down here. So right now it's getting into this retracement zone. So want to make sure that it could bounce above this retracement zone and maybe chop around here and then make a little bit of zigzag and pull up. Then we could also redraw the Fibonacci and use that swing to get a major move, and most likely probably will give us a 127 or 141 somewhere up here at this 366. So that's the IBB, and I think there was one that I've been kind of mentioning. Well, let's take a look at financial. I put up a chart on the financial on Morgan Stanley. Originally, we're basically looking at this bull flag here. Okay, that's why you don't want to hold stuff to earning if you are trading it. Okay, because you never know what will happen. Okay, if you look at this without looking at this thing here, it's a nice pattern, in the work here, right? Then you got this earning, it just kind of clobber you, right? So this, you just can't do anything about that when it had kind of this kind of gap. Okay, so that's why, be careful when you trade to earning. Okay, so Morgan Stanley come back down below this, or probably a little, take a little work to repair itself. But I think the financial is gonna take turn and start making a move here. Here's JP Morgan, so it's coming up, and here's this trend line that it could be, tagging for resistance. So if we break this, this level here, so we take this and use this as a little bit of a double bottom type of pattern here, you can see that it could get up to this 168 and essentially somewhere around this 65 area, 65, 66. Okay. Then also the B of A, we also got B of A. All these been report earnings. You see on the earning here, kind of pull back, and now it's kind of make it back to where it was before earning, and then make it a little bit of a run. So right now we're looking at 1645 up here as a potential resistance, which is also in confluence with this trend line here. Okay, so but the support will be somewhere back down here at this 1525. So you got to be careful, or if you want to play it tight then here's the other level that you want to keep an eye on. Right? So somewhere around here, you might want to see, make sure that it could hold. Then city, all right, same thing with city. It pulled back. It actually set up a nice little flag here. So if you want to take this as a little flag, and again, in the Fibonacci retracement, you can see this pull back to the 618 and then pop. So if we also, use a little flag type of measure move, right? So essentially, what do we got here? All these numbers. Okay, I'm a little confused. Let me move this out. Okay, so here's the 80% retracement, somewhere around 53. Yeah, somewhere around 53, $54 here. Right, so essentially up at this pivot here. Okay, so also the other thing is I haven't talked about Goldman. Goldman also got a nice pop. After the earning, I kind of got dip and then recovered nicely. So it's kind of flagging right now. So when you see these kind of patterns, go look at the intraday. Maybe on a 30-minute. Right, then you can see some of these little flag. Right, that might be developing. That could be a little bit interesting. Right, so. So you might want to take a look at that kind of stuff. Do multiple time frame analysis so you can kind of get some idea what it looks like. And here we take a look on the hour basis, so you can see that kind of came up on this resistance here. It seems to be shoot. Let me take that snap out. Right. So you can see that here's that little bit of a resistance turn support. So kind of flagging here, and if it could continue to move, the next level up will be somewhere around this 190, right? I'm not doing too good on drawing these horizontal line, so let me use the price level. Okay, so maybe somewhere around this 190 here. Right. So that is it for tonight. Hopefully you had a profitable day, and good luck tomorrow.